Wow. Election day is coming up. You know, I can't vote until next May, but I should learn how to vote. I mean, voter turnout in Spokane is trash, but I'm too busy to do any research. Sup, nerd? It's me, your slightly more confident self from the near future, Other Lily. Leave? But, like, you want to encourage people to vote, right? I can help. See, in the future, you actually did the research, got your first story done for Finn, inspired people to vote locally, saved America, and gained the admiration of your peers. Doesn't that mean I have to socialize with other people? Okay, forget that last part, that's a lie. Point is, this is about democracy. You gotta step it up. But it's hard to research stuff. And I've been too busy with schoolwork since I get overwhelmed easily and have a bad habit of putting things off until the last minute. I'd rather just take a nice long nap at this point. Or I could just tell you. Oh my god, that makes this so much easier! Oh, we're doing this already? Hi, welcome to Lily made a conscious effort to wear a dress shirt and matching colored pants this time. So not only do a lot of the circumstances around voting vary from state to state, but I put condensed guide for a reason. This is not meant to be an exhaustive how-to guide. Finn has to fit into advisory somehow, so please, do your own research if you get the chance. Or hey, if you're in civics, you can just ask your teacher. Hey Lily, I'm 16. I can't even vote yet. Yes, you do have to be at least 18 to vote, and I am well aware that there are not a lot of people at Ferris who can vote yet, but if you're at least 16, you can register to vote. Are you registered to vote?
Yes.
Are you registered to vote?
I am registered to vote. I am.
To register online, go to votewa.gov. You'll need a current state ID, driver's license, or permit. If you don't have any of these, you can still register in person or by mail.
If you're a 17-year-old who is turning 18 by the general election, you can sign up for the Future Voter Program using the regular registration process. You'll be automatically registered to vote in the August primary next year.
You can register in person at a county elections office until 8 p.m. on election day.
You actually only need to register to vote once, and then after that, you just need to update your registration whenever you move so that the state knows where to send your ballot and for which elections you're eligible to vote in.
This is my brother Philip. Not only did he go to Ferris, but he has a bachelor's degree in political science from WSU, so he knows his stuff.
Yeah, I know I have to register, but how do I actually vote?
The best way to vote in Washington state is by mail. Once you're registered, you should get a mail-in ballot sent to your address for each election, and then all you have to do is fill it out and drop it off.
You'll receive a ballot no later than 18 days before Election Day.
Yes, officer, you can vote early.
You are not required to vote for every race, especially if it's in another city, but you are required to fill in at least one bubble.
Do not just randomly fill this out.
Ballots come with voter pamphlets, which contain helpful information about candidates and measures that need to be passed so you can make a more informed decision, and you can also find more information about the candidates on their candidacy websites. Keep in mind that in Washington, all candidates are listed as nonpartisan, except in presidential primaries. So if you see a campaign ad that lists nonpartisan as a selling point, it doesn't really mean much unless you bother to look up their political preference online.
Educate yourself. Who are they? What are their priorities? What's their experience? Who's endorsing them? Do they speak for you?
And if you happen to not agree with any of the candidates, there should be a space where you can just write down your own.
Once you're done with voting, place your ballot in a security envelope, put that into the return envelope, don't forget to sign and date it on the back, then return it by mail or drop it off at an official ballot drop box at one of these many locations.
Pretty simple, huh? Okay, I guess that's simple enough. But I still don't get the point. How is one vote going to make a difference? Especially if it's not for president. To those who may think that way, my brother has some understanding choice words for you.
So, while any individual vote, especially for a state or federal election, isn't going to change the outcome of the election, the mindset that voting doesn't matter has had a huge influence on electoral outcomes. In the 2020 presidential election, 80 million people about didn't vote who were eligible to, and that's like 6 million more votes than President Trump received and only 1 million less than President Biden received. If only a fraction of those people had decided their vote mattered, the election might have gone completely differently. which demographic group voted the least of those. It was, the 18 to 29 demographic. Like, young people have tremendous power to influence elections, but less than half of them even exercised their share of that power. So I'd encourage everyone to not let their share of the voting power to slip away from them.
President doesn't do much. Like, for local area is what really kind of affects you. And then, like, president, he does bigger things, but not really the little things.
You got like county commissioners that are gonna like decide funding for all that going on. You gotta vote in like the people who are your fire marshal. You gotta vote in like all these people who are like influential in your community. There's more than just the president that affects what's going on.
We all just neglect and kind of ignore our state and local elections. But despite this, any political expert would tell you that your participation in these smaller elections is way more impactful to your life personally. Like, while your local government doesn't feel as exciting, it's the place where your vote is the least diluted. You have a bigger impact.
Like Past Me said, and as Philip can explain, voter turnout in Spokane is indeed trash.
The recent election for city council position number 2 had a voter turnout of only about 15,000 people total. And those city council people have a tremendous influence on the city budget and local laws. And those people are being elected by less than a tenth of the city population. So if you really want to make a change in your community, consider spending like 10 minutes looking at your candidates for your local elections, because in those elections, your vote matters just a lot.
This isn't from a few years ago. This was 2 months ago this year. So even if it's not for president or governor or senator or even representative, voting at a local level matters. I realize that for some people, the issue isn't not knowing how to vote, it's not being able to vote. Especially in other states, voter suppression is instigated through restrictions on registration requirements, punishments for arbitrary mistakes or providing food and water at long lines, felony convictions that make it impossible to vote in some states, including Washington, and even unlawful purges of eligible voters. And it's worth noting that some politicians are even considering raising the minimum voting age. And it's hard to talk about all of that because I'm already short on time. So again, educate yourself. Ask a civics or history teacher, ask a family member, research this stuff on your own, donate to nonprofits that are working to stop this. Ensure that everyone has the right to vote in every election. Now, if you'll excuse me, I think I finally deserve that nice long nap after all that hard work. Lily Johnson for Finn.